would. Mine.
Where once reverberated the enthralling music of the sirens, sheer silence now remains. Yet for how long shall those immortal songstresses be stilled?
Doubtless only till my next attempt. Best get out before Skilla comes back. My keepsake's manifest. The eye. To the fields. Look for the markers. Follow the golden petal path. Again for now. May moonlight guide you. Olympus, I accept this message. Where's the last one? Golden once again. Chronos so loves his gold. That should have done it. blood is not for you. Denied. How many mortals have you tormented? In the name of Hades. Sure. All these shades. It's only me. Who are you, may I ask? Who are you, may I ask? May I ask? May I ask? Well, I can sense you're of no danger to me, so... I am Melinoe. Family business down in Tartarus. And you are... Do I hear an echo? I am Echo. 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 I'm grateful. 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 Grateful.
A deep ravine within the fields of mourning spreads forth like a gash across the underworld's heart.
Need to keep pushing forward, out of here. Lamia. Where was I? Burn brighter, Ignium. Still prizes to be claimed. Glass rock. Damn it. Hear me, on my authority. This must be love. There's something.
What a surprise.
I insist I accept this message. Cold comfort. I'll break you from your shell. Cerberus can't see through his rage. He needs our help, Chronos.
Okay, wait. So the horned guy over there, he's the one who shows up whenever some mere mortal is about to die in some horrific, unexpected way?
Well, yes. He ensures the will of the Three Fates is done. But don't misjudge him for it, and there's no need to be afraid of him either.
Are you kidding? I think that's awesome. I wonder if he saw me die. Maybe I got crushed by a boulder, struck by lightning, murdered by my own lover. Could you introduce us?
Sure?
Hello.
May moonlight guide us. How well would you say you know your grandparent, Lord Moros? I'd not expected to meet primordial chaos of all beings, but they summoned me to their domain, and I don't quite know what they want from me.
Chaos summoned you. That is unusual, though not entirely without precedent. And in this case, I can't imagine why. Chaos and Mother Nyx were rather close, after all.
So Chaos seeks their daughter. They did mention something about a quandary.
This isn't the first time they took an interest in your family, or took action that the fates themselves likely never preordained. I choose to think you've made a new ally.
I hope you're right.
Oh.
I'll just clean this up. Hey, what would you say about a visit to the hot springs? To cleanse yourself of all your foul deeds, and me of mine?
Oh, well, you know, I'd feel way too self-conscious there with anybody else. Sorry. You know how come I'm really back, don't you, Trouble? Because things finally started getting interesting. But you're trying to put a stop to it.
I won't let you cast doubt on my task. Surely you've better uses of your energy than this, and throwing all your rubbish everywhere.
What would you even know? I have every right to be here, and you're never getting rid of me. And you're never getting rid of Chronos either. No going back to how things were.
We're going forward, not back.
Don't bother.
Together we shine.
Our cauldron. It'll be worth the wait. Be well, Headmistress.
And you, Malinois. You have gone far, Malinois, and you bested me. Gave me quite a scrape at that. There is much left to be done. But you are learning.
Thank you, Headmistress. Although I know that I could not have bested you had you held nothing back.
You know. Why do you self-impose such limits on your capability? Alter your thoughts. I shall see you again out there.
Yes, Headmistress. Do you think Arachne's going to be all right in all of this, my lord? The surface was no longer welcoming or safe for her. And now, I fear that Erebus is not much better off. You're right. She's twice as resourceful as just about anybody. 4 times. Just look out for her, would you? Lord Charon always delivers. Hail, broker. I'll take it.
Well, I do have a bit of a taste for this stuff, I suppose. I once traveled much more often to places where 'tis easier to procure. Perhaps you sensed in me some wistfulness about that.
I've learned from you, Headmistress. So, this is just a small token of my gratitude. Salutations.
Salutation. I once was desperate to hear the siren's song. I barely resisted their temptations. Of course, I was merely mortal. Perhaps you're less susceptible to their allure.
Perhaps. At any rate, I failed to see the appeal. Although, it's possible the sirens were better off without Scylla. She seems rather bossy.
She's a menace. Caught half a dozen of my crew like she'd a separate set of teeth for each of the poor lads. We'd little choice but to pray to the gods and sail on. Tell her hello for me.
Did the gods answer your call at least?
For the most part.
All grown up.
Ah, that's a nice touch.
Nemesis on break, I guess. It's all here. Death. Thought I had more. Better prepared. Which shall it be?
And that concludes our lesson for today. At ease. How have you lately fared against the lurkers and the serpents all that way down in the watery depths? Knowing of them and squaring off against them are two very different things.
They're significantly stronger than the lost souls lingering around here. And they have no sense of fear at all, attacking without any hesitation.
They're basically just walking fish, young one. Not much for conversating, but they'll stick you with a trident just fine. Don't you let them.
I won't. This is my path. I will not fail.
A little birdie said that awful heiress has been fluttering about, getting her nose in everybody's business instead of minding her own. We stopped inviting her to any of our feasts up here even before all this.
I accept this gift. That's that. I've blood to spare. Good to be back.
Does there remain a place for beauty and for objects of desire in a world such as this? The goddess Aphrodite must think so, and you work now as allies. I believe it a worthwhile cause. This world was born of a certain desire, after all.
The Fates won't mind.
Please enjoy.
Ensnared.
What a spicy meatball. It's just making me laugh how you're like going, and just rotates on you like that. Here you go. Oh man, with that hand, I was like, see, I was expecting him to put a +5 on you. You're lucky. And all that cards, you didn't have a +5. Is this gonna? Oh, it's like that to backfire on me. Whoa. Ooh. Oh, thank you, Ringo. We'll play until it's finished. How many times are you gonna jump in there, Char? still it's his turn to jump in. Oh man. Oh, mamma mia. Oh, 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 oh. That is very painful.
Yeah, make a
Hmm. Me. Oh my gosh, my hand. No, not really. Because we all have low numbers. But tons of points you get from other people having lots of cards. Whoa, Ringo. Calm down. Oh, Ringo! Hey, Lily. Oh, you had a +5 anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Oh, smooth, Char. What's up, Lily? What? What?
I told you.
Well, everyone had lots of cards. Like that's come from the point, not from the length of the game. Ringo! Even though he saved you. Thanks for helping me, dog. A bad dog. All right.
Know it.
We are in.
Paul's second letter to Timothy. This is Paul's final and most personal letter. He wrote it from yet another time in prison, and it's addressed to Paul's dear co-worker and protege, the young Timothy. Now, we don't know how much time exactly has passed since he wrote 1 Timothy, but we can see that Paul's situation has changed, and for the worse. He's imprisoned in Rome, which could refer to his time under house arrest that was mentioned in Acts chapter 28, or it could be that he was released from that imprisonment, had another long season of ministry, and then was arrested again in Troas. Either way, Paul says he's in the middle of his court trial now, and it is not going well. He's pretty sure he's not going to survive this one. And so out of this very dark situation, Paul appeals to Timothy, who it seems is still on assignment in Ephesus. He asks Timothy to come be with him in prison so Paul can pass on to him the church planting mission he started. The letter's design is pretty simple. There are two large sections where Paul challenges Timothy. First, to accept his calling as a leader, and then, before he comes to Paul, to deal with the corrupt teachers that are still causing problems in Ephesus. After this, Paul concludes the letter. So Paul begins by thanking God for Timothy and his family, specifically for his grandmother Lois and his mother Eunice. They immersed the young Timothy in the story of the Old Testament scriptures. They instilled in him a deep faith in the Messiah, Jesus. And so because of that firm faith, Paul offers his first challenge to Timothy. He calls him to reject any temptation to be ashamed of the good news about Jesus or of Paul, who's suffering in prison for announcing that good news. Now, the reason Paul needs to emphasize this is the negative stigma that he gained by his frequent times in prison. It made many of Paul's co-workers, in fact, doubt his calling as an apostle. He mentions two guys, Phygellus and Hermogenes. They deserted Paul because they were ashamed of being associated with Paul, who was an accused criminal now. So Paul asked Timothy to reject any fear of shame and to come see him. Now, Paul knows that this is a costly request. It could put Timothy at risk. And so he reminds Timothy that Jesus' grace is a source of power, which is really important. You're going to need it because following Jesus is not easy. It requires everything that you have. Paul likens following Jesus to enrolling as a soldier who's striving to please their commanding officer. Or it's like an athlete who's training their body for a competition. Or it's like a hardworking, dedicated farmer. All three of these metaphors involve a person who's committed to something bigger than themselves and who's willing to sacrifice and endure challenges to accomplish a greater goal. And of course, the highest example of this is Jesus himself. Because of his commitment to the Father, he suffered crucifixion by the Romans. And similarly, Paul himself is now suffering in a Roman prison. Hardship and sacrifice are inherent to the Christian life. And this is why Jesus' resurrection is the foundation of Christian hope. Or as Paul puts it in a short and very powerful poem, if we died with him, then we will live with him. If we endure, then we will reign with him. If we deny him, then he will deny us. If we are unfaithful, he will remain faithful, for he's unable to deny his own nature. God's love for our world has opened up a new hope through the death and resurrection of Jesus. And so for those who will take the risk of trusting and following Jesus, God promises vindication and life. For those who reject him, God will honor that decision and do the same. But people's faithlessness will never compel God to abandon his faithfulness. And so Paul calls Timothy to faithfulness, knowing that it may come with a cost. Paul moves into the second half of the letter, calling Timothy to confront the corrupt teachers in Ephesus before he comes to Rome. Their teaching is spreading in the Ephesian church like a cancer. They've targeted and corrupted a number of influential women in the church. These are likely the wealthy women that Paul had to deal with in his first letter to Timothy. He doesn't offer much detail about the teacher's bad theology. Timothy already knows about it, but he does give us one hint. He says they teach that the resurrection has already taken place. Now, we don't know if the teachers are following a Greek philosophical rejection of the whole idea of bodily resurrection, and they think it's only really about spiritual experience, or it could be that they've simply distorted Paul's teaching about the resurrection life that begins now through the power of the Spirit. Either way, the problem is that they've abandoned the robust future hope of resurrection and of new creation, and they've embraced instead a private, hyper-spiritualized Christianity that is disconnected from day-to-day life. And so Paul calls Timothy to raise up faithful leaders who are going to teach the real good news about Jesus. They should avoid senseless arguments that result from debating the teachers. In contrast, Timothy and his leadership team are to keep the main thing the main thing. They should focus on the core storyline and message of the scriptures, which in Paul's day meant primarily the Old Testament. These scriptures, Paul says, are able to give you wisdom that leads to salvation through faith in the Messiah, Jesus. He's saying the whole point of the scriptures is to tell you a unified story that leads to Jesus and that has wisdom to offer the whole world. Then Paul talks about scripture's nature and purpose. He says all scripture is divinely breathed, literally God-spirited. It's a reference to the Spirit's role in guiding the biblical authors so that what they wrote is what God wanted his people to hear. And God speaks to his people in the scriptures for a very practical purpose. He says they're useful for teaching, telling me things I didn't know before. They're useful for challenging, getting in my face about the things I say I believe but I don't actually live consistently with. They're useful for correcting me, exposing my messed up ways of thinking and behaving. And they're useful for training me in righteousness, showing me a new way to be truly human. And this is all so that God's people will be prepared for doing good. Paul closes the letter by reminding Timothy that he's probably not going to make it out of prison alive. So he asks Timothy to come as soon as possible, before winter. He doesn't want to freeze in his cell, and so he's going to need his heavy coat that he had to leave behind. And also, could Timothy please bring those personal documents that he left in Troas, likely when he got arrested. He also mentions Alexander, who's an especially dangerous man that Timothy should avoid. He's probably responsible for Paul's most recent arrest. Paul concludes by mentioning how nearly everyone's abandoned him in prison, and his only source of comfort now is the personal presence of Jesus, who stands with him and will deliver him even if he dies. And so the letter ends. The letter of 2 Timothy stands as a reminder that Paul's very influential life and mission were marked by persistent challenge and suffering and struggle. Following Jesus involves risk and sacrifice. It means inviting tension and discomfort into your life. And these things are not a sign of Jesus' absence. Rather, as Paul discovered with generations of Christians after him, that precisely in those dark and difficult moments, Jesus' love and faithfulness can become the most tangible and real. And that's what 2 Timothy, Paul's final letter, is all about.
Well, yeah. So like right now we're like when we read Acts, we're reading a historical like a very much of a historical document that's showing like the movements of the Spirit through Paul and the other apostles. But here we literally just have like a letter Paul is writing to Timothy, and so he's exerting him to bring his heavy coat, go see him, and do these things. So I am loving this right here. So tell me some takeaways. Yep. Yeah, there's some also really good theological points. Like, so the most weakest of people that you think, especially people who cling to Jesus, like we actually are supposed to, through Jesus' grace, or what grace is. So grace is his gift to you that you did not deserve. So yeah, Paracletos is, yeah, the Holy Spirit is a gift, but it's like he declared you good by his dying on the cross.
Right.
Yep, his righteousness is now. So when Jesus sees you and God sees you, God sees Jesus' righteousness. So it's like you're wearing the clothes of Jesus. So this power, though, is supposed to train us like a soldier. Like soldiers, they train, right? Yeah, like do it like an like an athlete, a farmer, like it's
gotta learn how to do stuff.
it's work, like yeah, it's hard work. And so then now you have this really amazing poem that if we died with him, then he will live with him. If we endure, then he will reign with him. If we deny him, then he'll deny us. And this is one of my favorites. If we are unfaithful, he'll remain faithful, for he is unable to deny his own nature. It's the denying Jesus, that's where he honors. But if we always have a hard time being faithful, he cannot, because we're not faithful doesn't mean that he's like, oh, I'm done. He never quits, right? Yeah. On this second session where it talks about scripture's purpose. And so this is why we study scripture, is it's useful for teaching, challenging, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that God's people are prepared for doing good. And because of declaring allegiance to King Jesus, we do good. And we need the scripture. We need Jesus. The script. Well, yeah, well, scripture helps us. Like, it trains us in righteousness. Yeah, so if we set our face more towards Jesus and more doing righteousness, guess what? It becomes easier to worship Jesus and do righteousness. But you have to choose to set your face towards it. You know what I mean by setting your face, right? Towards it? Mm-hmm. It's like a path. Yeah, imagine two paths. There's a path that we're like, we want to do our own things, we're going to deny him, and there's a path where we walk towards him. And so it's us setting our face towards the path where we cling to King Jesus. So yeah, so I declare I'm going to cling to Jesus. All right. All right, friends, we're going to start. All right, and I will be right back. I'm going to put a sweater on.
Chaos curse.
Oh.
Couldn't do it. You test my patience. It's locked.
Oh my god.
One left. Lord Uncle.
Must have weathered quite a storm on your way there. But don't lose hope. We'll turn that storm into a source of strength.
Shocking every time.
Oh, darn it.
This one again.
Good Lady Aphrodite, don't get distracted. She speaks of love and beauty, though she's no stranger to conflict. Perhaps my power can offset her own.
My chaos curse subsided. Perhaps I'd better go. Some silver.
Silken finery, so soft, divine. I spin my threads and catch whatever comes my way. My friend. These woods have changed an awful lot of late. Sometimes I think of moving out of here. I understand it gets all cold and damp as you head farther down.
There is a path I know that passes through the edge of Oceanus, where the bottom of the sea and the underworld meet. No trees, only strange tubes of metal. Brine.
Sounds like a real change of pace. Don't think I'd like it quite as much without my trees. But metal tubes? Could hang my webs on those. Ah well, a dream's a dream. I knew you'd pick this one. Farewell.
Not now.
Let's take these wretches down.
You're just in time.
Supplies inbound. See that one? You got it. All clear.
Artemis. It's been a pleasure to have worked more closely with you, Sister Artemis. This is hardly worth the gift of impeccable precision, though I wanted you to have it.
Doing the old traditions now, are we? Well, sure, then I accept your offering, Sister Melenui. And I've an offering for you in kind.
Truly, you're the best. Moonlight guide you.
Stay safe, sister. I can often depend on Sister Selene's light to guide me on my hunts. But where you're going, she can't follow, can she? Nor can I.
And Headmistress Hecate is needed at the crossroads. I alone have the authority to enter the House of Hades, if I can make it there.
Hey, what do you mean, if? It's a matter of when, as far as I'm concerned. I'm thinking maybe very soon, in fact. My mark be with you. Till we meet again.
It's quiet. That's good. Don't be afraid. Ran off. For me. Moonlight sorry. Habit.
I bid you shine for me again tonight.
Our charge as Silver Sisters is to work in shadow to uphold the will of night. Olympus remains unaware of us, that their own goddess of the hunt is one of us, that their own messenger serves us as well. Let us keep it this way. Now.
I do have gold to spare.
Tough call.
Salutations.
Come on. Can't you see my brother and I are in the middle of something? apart. Go on.
Charon must have ample time to spare, now that he isn't busy sending souls to their eternal rest. Although I do suspect that we can keep him plenty busy in service to us here.
Be safe, Lord Charon.
Oh, darn it.
Welcome. Olympus has emboldened you and made you strong. Yet 'tis a fleeting strength. One false step and I could wipe it all away.
I'll take a fleeting strength over no strength at all. We take every advantage that avails itself.
Just so. Then come and show me how you would make use of such advantages. The all-consuming flame. I'll keep this form, thank you.
Lost.
Ah,
To me,
trees.
my sisters. I know you hate this trick. Damname Isia. Felt not a thing. Defend yourself. Hold. Good. You wield Discura capably, and I can tell the bond you share is strong. Now, farewell.
Cinder. Could switch my keepsake. Expanded my collection. the onion. Going down. There's that rancid scent. Stay where you are. Lord Hermes, moonlight guide us.
This has been under siege before. Normally, it's not too big a deal. But Gramps has something else in mind this time. Got some individuals here pretty spooked.
Something there. Obscura grows in strength. Open up.
What else is going on, though, man? Gotta be something on your mind, right?
Lotus.
Well, sometimes I wonder, what would it have been like were I not so unbelievably attractive? Some things would have been easier. Not having everybody fall in love with me. Maybe arithmetic.
You're concerned that you're too winsome for your own good. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't find you particularly attractive.
Oh, I know you don't mean that. Though I appreciate you trying to comfort me as a friend. Knock yourself out.
Seeds.
I have something for you.
In the name of Hades. Must be the chamber that my spell revealed. Not thirsty, but hey. Hit me then. This old place. Better. This isn't your domain. only for simple prey. In the name of Hades. That's a feeling there.
I know what you are attempting to achieve.
Need to get out.
You know something of time and dream, do you? Seize this whilst you have the opportunity.
Made it back. Olympus, I accept this message. I need this. All of this tainted gold. You'll see that it's disposed of properly, Lord Charon. I long to see that day. Death to Chronos. Don't look down.
She's back. Surprised to see us again, lady? Because we're not going anywhere. This is our big comeback tour, after all.
I thought I dealt with you last time, yet here you are. Am I going to have to drive you back into the sea?
Oh, I don't know. Am I going to have to tell Jetty and Roxy to play their hearts out? No, I'm not. Because that's just what they do. Don't you, gals? And here we go!
Oh, that got me. What?
Damn it. I hate her. My Chaos Boon just changed.
Within a green tinged
Long way down. There's no clear path in sight. Petals from a golden bough. A boulder. In the name of Hades. One to go. Now. Oh, that blood-sucking. Well, that was a decidedly unhappy place, wasn't it?
Oh, hey, the head wedge isn't busting your chops too bad, is she? What, with you coming back here pretty often lately and all?
I know Headmistress can be very demanding. I'm sure she hopes I would have encountered more success by now, but she's been nothing but patient.
Really? Well, I hope that sticks.
If I may, the fated list continues to unfold, so thank you. While the fates often let events unfold naturally, at times they value an additional degree of certainty, and are willing to make it worthwhile.
I've seen a number of the listed prophecies already come to pass. Still others are foretold in their place. The magic in that scroll, it's beyond anything I've learned.
You must have your doubts. The fates are rather famous for their sense of irony. But no matter the outcome, I'm grateful for your willingness to discover their design. Our families are at stake.
Our families and more.
Huh? Oh, no phone. Yeah. The game making the controller, but
Back amongst the living.
Smells delicious. What to cast? Now. My blood is bound by fate, yet blood runs free. As it would spill upon the surface, I must be.
Interesting.
Let's try the surface one more time. Headmistress, I was wondering if you might accompany me to the springs for a short while, if you're not overly preoccupied.
Well, I do believe I could use a bit of a soak. I've more knots in my back than that tree. Let's be quick about it then. These waters always seem to do the trick. But this is all right. Thank you for replenishing these waters. One of those details I had been meaning to get to, but alas.
You're very welcome, Headmistress. I appreciate your saying so, as I half thought you would admonish me for using magic and resources on this sort of thing.
Magic mostly is for self-improvement, Malinois. Not a shortcut, mind you. And if an occasional scalding hot soak in the springs isn't self-improvement, then my concept of it must be very flawed.
I wish I could bring myself to relax. I feel like I'm wasting precious time while I'm here.
Time spent being good to oneself is never wasted. Unless you overthink it overmuch. We are here. Seize the moment ere it passes. A shame we cannot cook indefinitely in those springs, but a brief dip is better than none at all.
Interesting. Let me see. Hear me, O Shades, on my authority. Give my demand all due priority.
Your intent was true.
So mote it be. Here you are. Denied.
Huh. I must admit, I'm unaccustomed to displays of flattery. Forgive me, I don't quite know what to say except thank you.
You're very welcome. Though I'd not intended it as flattery. It's just... Don't even mention it, all right?
Let me guess. The Fates have nothing but a bunch of busy work laid out for you. No grand revelations, just odd jobs.
I know better than to question their designs. A minor prophecy fulfilled may result in a greater one coming to pass.
Just keep telling yourself that.
Odds on assignment, huh? Come along. Just as I thought. The Huntress. Why not?
But that, disciples, is a tale for another circle. That cuts straight. Choose wisely, young one, ere you set forth each night. There's your arcana at the altar, your choice of nocturnal arms, your keepsake, your gathering tool. I mean, dang.
It's a lot to consider when you put it that way, Commander. But my objective is always clear. Find the Titan, slay the Titan. Free my family. Free Olympus.
Well, that was like 4 different things right there.
The moon's waning. Deep breath. My curse. I feel all right.
Are you quite certain that it's best to be up here? I heard your kind, that is to say, those of the underworld, that you're not fit to linger on the surface for too long. Please, don't overextend on our behalf.
I accept this gift. No way around the city. Have to get through.
Few entrances into the underworld exist, and one of them is through the Acheron, whose accursed waters bear the weight of all the woes of mortal kind.
If our foes can use this as an exit, so can I.
Here's that making that sound.
Salutations.
Darkness guide you.
Shine this night, O moon.
I feel you closer to my light. You suppress that fate-wrought curse that binds you to your realm. I was uncertain such a thing was possible. Yet you surprise me fairly often, little star. Which suits you? Night bloom.
Together we shine.
It is yours.
The city of Aphira, which once stood in solemn tribute to the fear-inducing underworld king and queen, now barely stands at all.
Yet it stands in my way. Gap in the wall. Aphira's main square. Some sort of barrier.
The pathway to the docks is sealed shut by a phantasmal force that neither mortal nor immortal strength can budge.
It's drawing strength from shades. Shades are trapped within that pylon there. Shades, you're free. Should head to the main square. Part of the barrier is down. Must have been that pylon I destroyed. So what? 5 more to go. A bat cage, but no sign of any bats. Traitors. Eidolon. Count right now. Keep going.
Welcome to the fine city of Ephira, Witchy. Most important thing to know is, whatever happens to you there, I cannot be held liable. I work weapons, not miracles.
The Smith God's power. Keep pushing. Clean.
Oh, that's unblockable.
Lubbers. Ghastly thing.
No. Didn't think I could block it.
turn to shadow now.
Thrug.
Oh, my training clearly isn't yet complete.
Hey.
Everything all right, Dora? Any new hauntings need evaluation or anything?
I'm fine. It's just... I think I've hit a bit of a slump, is all. Happens, right? I'll get over it.
Good. It's possible I'm not cut out for city life, Chronos.
What are you looking at?
Ugh.
I figured it out. All these visits topside. You're trying to get to Olympus. Come to the family's rescue. Put an end to the war up there, is that it?
Oh, I just go up there to gather fresh reagents, really. Moss, bits of bronze. Comes in handy. The Olympians are very good at taking care of themselves.
Sure they are. And they're too proud to ask for help. Just don't go ruining it for Ares when you're up there picking moss. He's on a real hot streak lately.
Sounds like you and the God of War are still pretty close. Been very busy lately, hasn't he?
Sure has.
You're awake.
This should be possible. Katoskion Oski.
So it shall be.
Come, spirits of the dead. I have a task for you.
I felt your words.
It is done. Moonlight, guide us.
Your recent travels to the surface. How were you able to survive up there? You were away for longer than I would have expected.
My surface breathing incantation made a difference after all, Headmistress. I still felt the oppressive atmosphere up there, weighing down on me, but not crushing me quite like before.
Magic born of your resolve. I'm impressed, though not entirely surprised. May your craft thus protect you ere Olympus is secure.
Indeed.
Yeah, what? You keep heading up when you ought to be heading down toward your objective. Forget about the mountain, not your fight.
My family on Olympus is under assault by the legions of Chronos, and it's not my fight?
No. He's down below, all comfy on your father's throne, and you don't have anything to worry about besides him.
Sure I don't.
Evening.
You ever seen Hypno so much as shift in his sleep, Odd? I know he's been through a lot, but still.
Can't say I have. Been just that way from the night the Good Witch got him. The snoring I became accustomed to eventually.
Think he's ever going to wake? None of the incantations we've tried have had any effect.
He's sleep itself, isn't he?
There.
Oh, what have we left?
The purse. Much deeper than it looks. Sure. Revol, the Argent Skull. I know the fury in your hollowed eyes. The rod of fishing. What shall the rivers yield to us?
The path to perfection.
My altar. What now?
It's the true meaning of life. Remember it well. I almost budged.
All right, Tyra, we're at time. Oh, let's call it, okay? Go through steps.
Could always use some new disciples here. See any shades of the dead out there just loitering around, remember your training and sprint right into them. They'll come around.
They'll more than come around, sir. They're prepared to join our fight. By now they know exactly who I am and what we stand for here.
May you keep running. Excellent.
Farewell, Commander. The crest of the Queen. The family stands united in our cause. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
Pleased to make your acquaintance finally, my dear. Already had enough of the surface, yes? Well, I promised the family that once you demonstrated your resolve to us, I'd take you under my wing. And I always keep my vows.
Archer, you've done your ultimate.
Her Majesty the Queen is with me now.
Have to do reading. Are you ready to do that? Yeah.
I can't. My blades grow sharper still. Return to dust. Olympus, I accept this message. The sacred bond. Let's fish.
Yeah, I just unlocked it.
That's a bite. I got him over.
No idea.
You again. The shadow spilled us back.
Here you are. Ah.
The shadows dissipate.
Well, it seems you've earned the good graces of my sister Hera. And you didn't even have to commit yourself to a mate or bear any children, I suppose. She must be growing soft.
Life or death.
Her foes are nowhere to be found.
Pure water. Are you lost, little one?
It's just the cat's
Must
there.
want something to eat. Was good.
Can I have the cheese?
I like it.
It does kind of sound like a toaster.
I bear the gift you generously gave to me, a keepsake to bring fortune on such nights. Things are looking up already. Well, it can't hurt. A fish is near. The hunt begins.
That's another. We cannot always reach you in those depths, though your boatman seems to have no trouble at all. Keeps to himself, fends for himself. I quite like him.
By her grace.
Limb and Oros. A chill swept through the air as you approach. Unseasonably cold. Though perhaps it is as Demeter desires. She aids you, does she not?
She does. She knew me for her granddaughter at once. Have you had opportunity to speak with her about me and all that's transpired?
No. I've been a bit preoccupied. At least here, Demeter shall be able to cool her wrath against me for keeping you a secret for so long. Crossed blades awaken! Arise again, sisters. Kataskian Aski. So much for that. Shades on your side. Your growing skill with Limb and Oros makes you something to be feared. Good.
Some cinder.
in time.
Try another one, maybe.
I haven't gotten to Chronos yet.
Please take your time. You yet persist, despite my generous attempts to dissuade you. Then very well. You carry on as the distraction which you are, whilst I turn my attention to matters of greater import.
The Rim of Oceanus. Always a treat. Come. Damn it. Clear. Salutations.
Salutations.
I bid you shine for me again tonight.
I found you, though my light is but a flicker at these depths. You trace the secret path between Poseidon's and your father's realms. What lurks here has no love for either one. Your choice? Then let us turn our foes.
Together we shine.
Please accept this gift.
Such mindless, flailing persistence on your part. Your father's wretches within Asphodel so hated trespassers.
This rift should open if I concentrate.
So you can see a pathway out.
Got you.
So what if you withstood all that?
Finally. Like waking from a dream. coma? I felt something. Again. The path of stars. The light of the moon.
By grace of night.
How'd you go?
Okay.
Outskirts of Poseidon's realm, it seems. You mean to circumnavigate your father's domain? Why confront the armies of Chronos head-on when you could go around? A clever move.
Lightning from on high. One of those golden urns that I revealed.
To make the most of our arrangement, I bid you activate a certain artifact where you reside. Within the pitch-black facets of this standing stone are possibilities to be explored. I shall reveal how to see them all, but first...
Just might work. In the name of Hades. Cool and brisk.
So tell me, lady, how is it that you seem to know our tricks? Other than the part where we keep playing the same act. Usually it slays.
The great tactician Odysseus says hello. Told me all about you. You claim you never let anybody get away. Though I understand, all but 6 of his hapless men got well away from you.
Odysseus? Oh, he's still on the hook. Big fish like that just takes a while to reel in, as he might say. Our song must still be bouncing around in his pretty little head. And now for yours. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Need to recharge.
Bitten by a shark and stolen by a jellyfish. Both by an urchin, stabbed by a dog. Hey, thanks for coming to our show.
Well, it's up. We leave him 4:15. It's 3:15.
I'm not a fan. Damn it, Chronos. I can't do this. What if I can't do this?
Hey. Hey, you're up. You were out a while. See anything good down there that time?
I fought past Erebus down into Oceanus. It was so strange being underneath the sea. Do you remember the sea, Dora?
The sea. That's the thing with all the water in it, right? I heard it's nice sometimes. Also kills a bunch of people, death by drowning, so... Huh, I've been getting mixed messages, I guess.
It's a big place. This wasn't on the list before.
You've much to learn yet from them. The Oath of the Unseen is somewhere here. Isn't that so, Princess? The aura that it emanates, I haven't felt it since before all this. I thought the Oath was lost with Mother Nyx, but it was in the care of Lady Hecate.
It's in my own care now. The will of Night shall be done, no matter what. Isn't that so? You're here among the unseen. You know our charge.
The Oath is clearly in good hands.
Melenoi.
The influence of Chronos is much stronger in Oceanus than here. He attempted to ensnare me in a vision of another time. A field of flame.
Yet you were able to elude his grasp. An aspect of your condition we expected would come into play as you pushed closer to our foe. Continue with still greater caution, nonetheless.
Through the knowledge of almighty chaos, I can see into the void. Should be everything. As ancient chaos beckoned me to say, awake, O monument of night, I shall obey.
See that, sisters?
So mote it be.
It's a
Must be an
some sort of
incantation that
trial.
can help. I've need of that. Don't have the bones.
Whilst I appreciate the gesture and the drink, it is entirely unneeded on your part. Have I not conditioned you to resist the temptations of unspoken contracts such as this?
I know not to expect anything in return, Headmistress. The act of giving needs to be sufficiently rewarding in itself. And please believe me that it is with you.
Back in one piece.
How did you manage it, Odysseus? Back when you had the outcome of a full-scale war riding on you, then a treacherous sea journey, all with only one life to live. Or so then you thought.
For certain, the one life to live bit instilled in me the will to survive. Most mortals cling to life, but I was better than most at rejecting my doubts. And when my plans all fell apart, I improvised.
Your plans fell apart. How did you avoid becoming distraught? Keep all your doubts at bay in the face of failure?
It's that I always relished finding a way out, no matter what I'd gotten myself into. Treating my predicaments as mazes to be navigated, puzzles to be solved.
But at times there are impasses, outcomes that simply cannot be achieved.
Nay, goddess. Not if you ask me.
Nightshade. Nemesis must have a head start. Oh. The messenger. The boatman. Very well.
I rise again.
Should keep me company.
That's no mere trinket, huh?
Infinite possibilities. see what needs to be done. I feel unstoppable.
Our trial thus began. Your usage of the pitch black standing stone enables me to temporarily emerge from my abyss, and I thank you for that. I can observe more clearly both the outcome of your trial and all else.
Area clear.
To level with you, girl, I don't know that you've got what it takes to thwart the Titan. But what choice do we have at this point? I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
When something is amiss, and on this night strange forces are at work. Perhaps it was the fates themselves ensuring you would find me thus.
Electric. I'm grateful, Daedalus. Let's begin. Well?
Yeah. We're in First and Second Kings for everyone. Feels good to be reading again. Christ, you're all amazing. Thank you, as we learn in 2 Timothy, how all scripture is breathed. We do see the author itself and its force and will, but we also do see your spirit at work. Thank you when your Holy Spirit works, it doesn't just control us like puppets. It partners with us. There's definitely an empowering that works with stepping with you in your desires. May we continue being the hands and body and feet. Thank you that in our unfaithfulness, you're still faithful. May we never deny you. Well, in Frost's name, amen. The fall of the northern kingdom. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, Hosea, son of Elah, became king over Israel and Samaria for 9 years. He did what was displeasing in Yahweh's eyes. Only not like the kings of Israel who were before him. Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, went up against him, and Hosea became his servant and sent him an offering. The king of Assyria discovered treachery in Hosea. The king of Assyria went up against the entire country. He went up to Samaria and besieged it for 3 years. In the 3rd year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria. He transported Israel to Assyria and settled them at Halah and Haba. The river goes on in the cities of Media. No. Media. It happened because the Israelites had offended against Yahweh their God, who had brought them up from Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh the king of Egypt. They had revered other gods and lived up the laws of the nations that Yahweh had disposed from before the Israelites. Yahweh had testified against Israel and Judah by means of every prophet, every seer, saying, "Turn from your wrong ways, keep my commands and laws according to all the teaching that I commanded your ancestors and sent to you by means of my servants, the prophets." But they did not listen. They stiffened their neck. Like their ancestors who did not trust in Yahweh their God, they rejected his laws, his covenant, and he sealed with their ancestors, and his declaration with which he charged them. They went after emptiness and became empty. Went after the nations around them when Yahweh had commanded them not to act like them. Judah too did not keep the commands of Yahweh their God, but walked by the laws of Israel, which it had practiced. So Israel went into exile from its soil to Assyria until this day. The king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Cutha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharim, and settled them in the cities of Samaria in place of the Israelites. They took possession of Samaria and settled in its cities. When they first settled there, they did not revere Yahweh, and Yahweh sent lions among them, and they became killers among them. So the king of Assyria commanded, "Send there one of the priests you exile from there. They are to go and settle there and teach them the requirements of the God of the land." But the different nations would make it its own god, each of them, and set them up in the house at the high places that the people of Samaria had made. They would revere Yahweh, but serve their own gods according to the requirements of the nations from which they had been exiled. To this day, they are acting in accordance with the formal requirements. They are not revering Yahweh and not acting in accordance with the laws and requirements laid on them in the teaching and command Yahweh gave the descendants of Jacob, who was given the name Israel. The children and grandchildren are acting as their ancestors did to this day. All right, so what's happening? What kind of big bad stuff? Yeah, so I like this expression. Judah did not keep what was it? So they rejected his laws, his covenants that he sealed with ancestors, and his declaration with which he charged them. They went after emptiness and became empty. What do you think of that expression? They went after emptiness and became empty. Well, imagine, have you ever just like run empty? Like you just feel just like just gone? Never felt empty? I expected that people think I am an upright kind of guy, and they are not exactly wrong. But I have stories in my past of which I am ashamed and about which they don't know. And I am not about to tell you these either. They still cause me shame, but that sense of shame isn't demoralizing. I have come to terms with my actions and sought forgiveness for them. The positive significance of that shame is that it continues to inhibit me from acting in the same way again. I also know stories about messes that other people have gotten into that are similar to mine, sometimes with results that have been more devastating. And those stories are significant for me too. They reinforce the motivation to avoid getting into those messes again. Those dynamics operate on the corporate level in this account of the devastating fall of Ephraim, which terminated its existence as a nation, which we again have to remind ourselves that these stories are not merely contemporary newspaper reports or journal entries. They are more like a memoir in which someone reflects with the benefit of some distance on the significance of their experience. Or rather, they are like the kind of memoir in which Someone reflects on the life and experience of a family member and someone with whom the writer has had a rather stormy relationship. First and Second Kings constitutes Judah's later reflection on its brother Ephraim's life. Reflection that is concerned not so much to understand Ephraim's story for its own sake, but to discover what Judah needs to learn for its own sake. One possible context for a first edition of his memoir is the century that immediately followed. Whereas Samaria fell in 722, Judah continued in existence as a nation until 587 for the next century or so. Ephraim's story stands as a warning to it. It must learn from its brother's fate. It needs to read Ephraim's story in light of where it ended and of the religious and theological evaluation this chapter offers. It didn't do so. Judah too did not keep the commands of Yahweh their God, but walked by the laws of Israel, which had practiced. The next context for an edition of this memoir is the decades that follow Judah's consequent fall in 587, the period at which 1st 2nd Kings will eventually end. A further context in which we can imagine the story being read, and maybe a context for another edition, is the life of Judah later in that same century. At the hand of Assyria and Babylon, Ephraim and Judah went through analogous experiences. Religiously, they resisted the authority of Yahweh, and politically, they resisted the sovereignty of the superpower. And both acts of resistance had the same consequence. God raised up Assyria and then Babylon as a means of chastisement to two nations. In one way they did so was by transporting part of their population. In both cases, a superficial read of the story could suggest they transported the entire population. But in both cases, that looks like an oversimplification. But the Assyrians likely did transport more of Ephraim than the Babylonians did of Judah. And they also brought people from elsewhere to settle in their place, as the Babylonians did not. It was a more permanent moving around of the people in their empire. The Old Testament never records an account of Ephraimites coming back. They became the 10 lost tribes of Israel. In some sense, the population of Ephraim thus became mixed. There were people in Ephraim who escaped the transportation. The Old Testament talks about some moving to Judah, and for some of them that might have been temporary. Further, the way these things usually work was suggests that others took temporary refuge in places like Moab and Ammon. 2 Kings describes a different kind of mixing. The new population combined adherence to Yahweh with adherence to the gods they brought with them from their homelands. That mixing is then the background to a relationship between Judah and Samaria as described in Ezra and Nehemiah, by whose time Persia has taken over as superpower. By now, Samaria is the name of the area that was once Ephraim. Both Judah and Samaria are provinces of the Persian Empire. The leadership in Samaria wants to share in the religious life of Judah and Jerusalem, but the Judahite leadership is afraid that their alleged religious interest is too enmeshed with a political interest in controlling affairs in Judah. This memoir provides them with some religious rationale for their resistance. In their relationship with Samaria, they need to remember the origins of the community there and the mixed nature of its religious commitment. In their own life, too, the Judahite people are still influenced by the traditional religion of the people who lived around them. It wouldn't take much for any mixedness of the religion of people in Samaria to affect people in Judah. They also need to learn from this memoir. The past is never dead. It's not even past, wrote William Faulkner in his novel drama Requiem for a Nun. There are two bases for the memoir's critique of Ephraim and Judah in this chapter, and for its implicit warning to the later community. It talked much about laws, requirements, commands, and teachings, and here it will have in mind the kind of expectation expressed in the Torah, and probably particularly in Deuteronomy. There are lots of links between Deuteronomy and the books that follow it: Joshua, Judges, Samuel, Kings. Deuteronomy outlines how Israel was supposed to live in the Promised Land, and the story that follows details how they failed to do so. The second basis is the teaching of the prophets. 1st and 2nd Kings have referred to prophets such as Elijah and Micaiah, but during the last years of Ephraim's life, Amos and Hosea have been working in Samaria, warning about the catastrophe that hangs over the nation, but it has taken no more notice of the prophets than it did of the Torah. Once more, the later generation for which these books are written needs to learn that lesson and start taking the Torah and the prophets seriously. So, I think as later generations get hope, are supposed to see the story of shame, right? Like that should be a good warning, at least for the people behind. And we could take a little grain from that what happens, because especially when you serve other gods, usually other gods require child sacrifices. Well, not shouldn't be literally now, but usually requires injustice. And you know how Yahweh feels about how we treat the poor and marginalized. So we gotta set our face towards doing good. All right, friend, we can start.
I've returned. Go haunt some other glade.
Should have seen it, dearie, when we brought old Chronos down. Took 6 of us at least, but we got him. Little wonder he's all sore about it still. We'll just have to dispose of him more thoroughly. Cremation, mayhaps.
Good. No, don't. Olympus, I accept this message. blood to spare. Coinage.
It should affect your chances to succeed.
A gift. Together we shine, sister. I draw
Forevermore.
Lend me your light.
I felt a weight drawing me toward the crossroads recently, and realized it was the pitch-black stone. So then it has awakened, almost like an eye itself, but far older than mine, and peering from the infinite abyss. Please make your choice. Twilight Curse.
The best behavior, manners, and performance in the presence of my dear beloved wife, without whom I would be the merest shadow of my greatness.
The truest words you've spoken in quite some time, husband. And I'm more than just your dear beloved wife, aren't I? Seeing as I am the blasted queen. Not that your authority or mine has been worth much of anything of late.
The might of the heavens. I have the gold.
We've a long-standing partnership with your good boatman there. I bring mortals into being and marry them off after a bit. He takes them yonder to your realm. Or used to, anyway.
You're not particularly close with your brothers or sisters, are you? When you chance to visit us, Nemesis all but ignores you. I know, it's just... The clearing isn't far.
That was quick. You've a particular objective to achieve here, haven't you? Seen what must be done within the facets of the pitch-black stone.
A trial on top of a trial. This is one of the infinite possibilities that Chaos anticipated. I chose this path, but it was already there for me to find.
It is very much disquieting to know the choices that we make might all be preordained to some extent. Nevertheless, Knight's will is to be done. Seleni's burning light. Once more with me, sisters. You look adorable. More beasts to go around. Enough. I yield. I shall return to Shadows hence. Trust that your eve is only beginning.
Yes. Return to Shadow now. Phew. Chaos trial, check.
So what's up? Hey, what happened? You look weird or something, I don't know. Weren't out too long. Took someone to the woods.
No, Dora, though I don't think I can sufficiently explain. You know the pitch black stone? Turns out it can do things.
The purple rock can do things, you say? You know what? I don't even want to know the rest. Just gonna let my imagination take over for you, thanks.
Anytime. Where's Lord Moros? An inevitability.
What are you looking at?
I'll just clean this up.
I don't get you people, honestly. So set on making things the way they used to be. You, especially. You don't even know what you're missing.
We're trying to set things right, not make them how they used to be. Though, what's your point, Eris?
What's my point? What's your point? All of you are so obsessed with there being a point to everything. You do know there isn't one, don't you? Can't just let loose and have a good time?
Not under the present circumstances, no.
You fought well. That pitch black stone in our training grounds. I've sensed it ever since your incantation. The subtle influence of chaos on this realm.
Our goals are intertwined. When I gaze upon the stone, I begin to see different paths and possibilities in every facet. Some leading closer to our victory.
Those paths and possibilities are real, like as not, as are the splendors that await should you indulge our primordial benefactor. There always is uncertainty where chaos is concerned. Yet I trust that Nyx's parent is an ally, not a threat.
I trust so too. One, please.
A moment.
moment, got it. You asked before about how I managed it. The pressure to always prevail through what, in retrospect, were many terribly exciting scenarios, all whilst bearing the burden of so many others' expectations and my own.
You said you always believed there was a solution, a positive outcome that could be discovered and achieved. I've been thinking about that.
Good. But it occurred to me there's something else. It was love that drove me on. The Great War that earned me my place in Elysium. I wanted desperately not to go. To stay with my wife and then newborn son.
You were left with no choice but to fight. So you held to hope that someday you'd see your family again.
Sound familiar, does it?
Hail, Shades. Maybe the spade.
So ancient is the pitch-black stone, it predates time itself. Its surface ever seems to drain what light and color dare linger nearby.
I can see
Everybody
beneath that
at
surface
attention.
now.
My disciples, they were given quite a fright when that pitch-black stone there suddenly lit up. You know what it is, do you not?
A shard of purest darkness from the depths of chaos. In its countless facets, countless outcomes, perhaps none of which the fates have preordained.
Yep.
Visions of darkness. I can overcome this. Here already.
See the so-called Earthshaker live up to his title.
The air's thick.
But you have summoned me, and I am here, in spirit anyway, and with such boons as ought to practically ensure your victory.
A sudden surge. Back to dust. The underworld's power. Drown in it. My blades shine like the moon. I'm back.
authority.
Here goes. Pain is all.
I anticipated speaking to you thus as you explore the possibilities within the Standing Stone. Perhaps you see them as a series of important missions to complete, but they are merely part of our experiment. So shall it be.
Underworld bookman yet eludes the grasp of Chronos, does he? Turn to a life of the piratical smuggler in these dark times, huh?
Better.
Here's the gold. Get in line. I was here first.
You've sailed far from your usual course, boatman. Not solely on my account, I trust. Your generous aid is much appreciated, Lord.
Hey, girls! Oh, you keep trying to kill me, lady. The former sea nymph side of me says just forget it and move on. But I don't like to listen to her anymore.
That you don't listen to yourself explains a lot. I know better than to try and kill an Oceanid, former or not. I just need you to get out of my way.
Hear that, gals? I distinctly heard the lady say, I need you there. Oh, our art changes lives. What say we change this one right now? This sounds good. Come on!
Oh my gosh.
Couldn't do it. It's no use.
Welcome home. All right, Jared, dip in 10 minutes, my friend. Well. Peace and quiet. Some stardust. No! Return to Shadow now. Chaos shall be pleased. These Chaos trials. We're not changing reality too much, are we, Chronos?
And so I say,
Begone, accursed witch. I have occupied this grove for eons, long before your pitiable tent came to rest upon it.
oh, hey, Mel.
I see the two of you have met. Lord Moros, Dora speaks the truth as always. She's been here longer than I have, if you can believe it.
I can indeed, for I know an old soul when I see one. It's a pleasure to meet you, Dora. Do let me know if I can be of service in some way.
Count on it, Horns. Now then.
I bid your leave. Farewell.
Farewell.
You are required at your post, Nemesis. Or shall you take to openly defying me just as your sister does? I shudder to think what your mother would say of you two.
You have no right to invoke my mother. None of this would be happening had you fulfilled your role as handmaiden and warned her an attack was imminent.
Best watch your mouth or I shall seal it shut. You may continue dwelling on a past you were not witness to, or you may do what is expected of Nyx's daughters. Or whatever Eris is up to. Your choice.
We're retiring 6 minutes or dipping, my friend.
If I may be so bold, Goddess, you witches are reliant on your magic when it comes to fighting from afar. You ever think of taking up the bow again? I could give you some pointers.
We don't discuss the bow, Odysseus. I'm still recovering from the last time you gave me some of those pointers about it.
Ah, well, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. A single weakness in your case, perhaps.
Doesn't count. Revol.
Observe the pitch black stone.
Commencing Chaos Trial. Feels different somehow.
You lack the power you accumulated, but not the knowledge.
Just getting started for the evening, are you, Sunshine? Don't know about you, but I've got a good feeling about how this is going to go.
I'm ready.
Restored the standing stone where you reside, and now can see the possibilities within. Should you assist me in exploring my ability to determine outcomes like the fates themselves, I shall make it worth your while.
Splinter and fall. I draw you down, O moon. Lend me your light.
If the might of Olympus were sufficient, the gods would have already put an end to their predicament. Time itself is against us, yet this is precisely the time for which we Silver Sisters have prepared. The choice is yours. Your terrifying form.
greater might. For my father. No.
Oh. All right, friend. Time for us to bounce.
Small variances in your actions led to this.